Before I even begin, I want you to pause for a moment and think about how many times in your life you've acted, spoken, or made a decision without truly understanding the why behind it. We live in a world that constantly tells us to move faster. You decide quicker, act now. But here's the truth. Speed without clarity is the fastest way to lose yourself. And today, we're going to talk about what it really means to move according to something far more powerful than pressure. I'm not here to give you empty motivation. I'm here to give you perspective, because when your perspective shifts, your life shifts. I'm going to share ideas that, if you truly listen, will change the way you approach every choice, every challenge, and every moment that stands between you and your goals. And I promise you, if you commit to staying with me until the very end of this conversation, you will not walk away the same. You'll understand how to think before you act. You'll learn why perspective is your most valuable currency. You'll see how to align your actions with your values so deeply that no one and nothing can shake you. And you'll leave knowing the power of moving with precision, because timing is everything. So stay with me. This isn't just another talk you hear and forget. This is the conversation that will redefine how you live. From this moment forward, when you truly understand something before you act, you give yourself an undeniable advantage. Most people don't slow down long enough to see the full picture. They hear one detail, they see one angle, and they jump. But jumping without knowing where your landing is how people get stuck in cycles of frustration. It's not that they aren't working hard, it's that they're working blindly. And blind effort will never match the results of focused, informed action. When you take a step back to observe, you're not being passive, you're being strategic. It's about reading the room before you speak, studying the terrain before you walk, understanding the market before you invest, and knowing your own strengths and weaknesses before you commit to a challenge. Pause. The pause is not wasted time, it's preparation time. And preparation is the quiet, invisible work that makes public success look effortless. Think about how many opportunities have been missed simply because someone moved too soon. Maybe they reacted out of emotion. Maybe they followed someone else's lead without questioning if it was right for them. Maybe they felt pressure to match someone else's pace. But here's the thing. Your journey isn't theirs. Your timeline isn't theirs. Your opportunities won't look like theirs, and they won't arrive in the same way or at the same time. And if you're too busy chasing someone else's path, you'll miss the signs pointing toward your own. Understanding before acting means asking yourself the hard questions before making the move. What's my real goal here? What am I hoping to achieve? Am I reacting or am I responding? Am I making this choice because it's right for me or because I'm afraid of what will happen if I don't? Those questions are uncomfortable because they slow you down. And in a world addicted to speed, slowing down feels like falling behind. But in reality, that's how you get ahead. You have to remember information is leverage. The more you know, the stronger your position. That doesn't mean you wait forever, overanalyzing every possibility until you're paralyzed. It means you move at a pace that allows you to see clearly, to evaluate honestly, and to act deliberately. Every choice you make from that place of clarity will feel lighter because you're not carrying doubt along with it. You'll know why you're doing it, and you'll be able to stand behind it, no matter the outcome. When you're intentional like that, even if the result isn't perfect, you won't see it as a failure. You'll see it as data, information you can use to adjust, improve, and come back stronger. That's the difference between people who get discouraged and stop, and people who grow stronger and keep going. The ones who keep going have learned to understand first, act second. Think about any major achievement in history. None of them happened by accident. They were the result of vision, planning, patience, and execution. Whether it was building a company, creating art, leading a movement, or mastering a craft, the foundation was always laid before the first big move. You can't build a skyscraper on a shaky base. And you can't build a life of impact without understanding the ground you're standing on. Sometimes that understanding comes from studying the situation. Other times, it comes from studying yourself. Knowing your strengths means you can position yourself where you're most effective. Knowing your weaknesses means you can strengthen them or design around them. Both require honesty, and honesty requires courage. Most people avoid that kind of self-reflection because it's easier to keep moving than it is to stop and face yourself. But if you want to create real progress, you have to do the inner work before you make the outer moves. And here's the part people don't like to hear. Not every opportunity that comes your way is worth taking. Without understanding, you'll take them all and end up exhausted, scattered, and unfulfilled. But when you understand yourself, your goals, and the situation in front of you, you'll start saying no more often. And every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to something better. The discipline to understand before acting is what separates those who constantly start over from those who keep building forward. It's what allows you to protect your energy, choose your battles, and put yourself in situations where you can actually win. And when you learn to do that consistently, life begins to feel less like a series of random events and more like a path you're shaping with intention. That's the power of understanding before you act. You stop reacting to life and you start directing it. Perspective is everything. Two people can face the exact same moment, the exact same challenge, and walk away with completely different outcomes, not because the situation was different, but because the way they chose to see it was different. Your perspective is the lens through which you interpret the world. And here's the thing. Your life will always reflect the quality of that lens. If it's cloudy, everything will feel harder. If it's clear, you'll see opportunities where others see dead ends. Most people don't even realize how much control they have over their own perspective. They think it's something that just happens to them, something shaped by circumstances. But in reality, perspective is a choice. It's the decision to focus on what you can do instead of what you can't, to see the lesson instead of only the loss, to believe that a setback is not a stop sign but a redirection. The choice you make and how you see things determines whether you get stuck or whether you keep moving. The truth is, challenges are unavoidable. There will be moments when you are tested, when life feels unfair, when you're standing in the middle of a storm wondering how you'll make it through. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you choose to interpret it. That choice, right there, is where your power lies. Because the way you see a problem will determine how you respond to it, and your response will determine your outcome. If your perspective is built on fear, everything will feel like a threat. You'll see competition and assume you're behind. You'll see change and assume it's danger. You'll see a failure and assume it means you're not enough. But if your perspective is built on growth, those same moments look completely different. Competition becomes motivation. Change becomes opportunity. Failure becomes information. And that's when you start to see that life isn't happening against you. It's happening for you. It's not easy to train your mind to see things differently, especially when you've been conditioned to focus on the negative. But perspective is like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. That means when something happens, you pause before reacting and ask yourself, what else could this mean? What could I learn from this? How could this be shaping me for something better? Those questions shift you from a place of frustration to a place of curiosity. I've met people who had every reason to give up, people who were handed situations that would break most others, and yet they stood there with strength in their eyes and hope in their voice. And when you ask them how they kept going, they'll tell you, I decided to see it differently. That's the difference. The world didn't get easier for them. Their perspective made them stronger. The way you choose to see your circumstances will also shape how others see you. When you're the person who can walk through a challenge with grace, who can stay steady when things get messy, you become someone people trust. They see you as capable, as a leader, as someone who doesn't collapse under pressure. And that reputation will open doors for you that skills alone never could. Perspective is also what allows you to handle success without losing yourself. When you understand that every win is temporary, that every high point is just one part of a much longer journey, you won't let success blind you. You'll keep your focus, stay humble, and keep building. Because the same perspective that keeps you strong in hard times is the perspective that keeps you grounded in good times. Sometimes, shifting your perspective means letting go of a story you've been telling yourself for years. Maybe it's the story that you're not ready, or that you've missed your chance, or that where you come from determines how far you can go. Those stories might feel true, but they're just perspectives you've carried for so long, they've started to feel permanent. And when you challenge them, when you look for evidence that says otherwise, you give yourself permission to see a different reality. The moment you decide to change your perspective, everything changes with it. The road that looked blocked starts to reveal detours. The mountain that felt impossible starts to feel climbable. And the weight you've been carrying starts to feel lighter, not because it's gone, but because you've learned how to carry it differently. Life will test you in ways you can't predict. But when you have the right perspective, those tests won't break you. They'll prepare you. They'll refine you. They'll position you for the moments you've been working toward. And one day, you'll look back at the very challenges you once resented and realize they were the reason you became who you are. That's the power of perspective. It doesn't just change how you see the world. It changes the way you move through it. When your actions are aligned with your values, everything feels different. You move with a sense of certainty that no amount of doubt or outside pressure can shake. There's a peace that comes from knowing that the decisions you're making reflect who you truly are, not who someone else wants you to be. The problem is, too many people spend their lives chasing goals or living routines that don't match their deepest beliefs. They wonder why they feel drained, why every step feels heavier than it should, why no amount of achievement feels like enough. The answer is simple. When your actions and your values are out of sync, you create friction. And that friction is what burns you out from the inside. The world will always have an opinion about what you should do, who you should be, and how you should live. Those voices will be loud, persuasive, and sometimes even well-intentioned. But they aren't living your life. You are. And if you let their expectations dictate your choices, you'll wake up one day realizing you've built a life that looks impressive on the outside but feels empty on the inside. True fulfillment only comes when what you're doing out there matches what you believe in here. Living in alignment starts with knowing your values. That might sound obvious, but a lot of people have never taken the time to truly define them. They've been so busy reacting to life that they've never stopped to ask themselves what actually matters most. Is it integrity? Growth? Family? Freedom? Contribution? When you're clear on those answers, they become your compass. And that compass will guide you in situations where logic alone might not be enough. Once you know your values, the challenge becomes living them out consistently. That means making choices that might not be popular, comfortable, or immediately rewarding. It's easy to stick to your values when everything is going your way. The real test comes when living by them costs you something, an opportunity, a relationship, a shortcut you could have taken. That's when you find out whether your values are just words you say or principles you actually live by. Every time you act against your values, even in small ways, you chip away at your own self-trust. And when self-trust is gone, it's hard to move with confidence. You start second-guessing yourself, wondering if you're making the right choices, hesitating when you should act boldly. On the other hand, when your values guide your actions, you build trust with yourself. You start to believe in your own judgment because you know your decisions aren't random. They're rooted in something solid. This alignment doesn't just impact you. It impacts the way others see you. People can sense when you're authentic, and they can also sense when you're not. The more consistent you are between what you believe and what you do, the more others will respect you, even if they don't always agree with you. That respect is powerful. It builds influence, opens doors, and creates opportunities that aren't available to those who compromise their integrity for short-term gain. There's also an energy that comes from living in alignment. When your values and actions match, you don't waste time or mental energy wrestling with regret or questioning your motives. You can put all of your focus into what you're doing because you're not battling yourself in the process. That energy is the difference between burnout and momentum, between feeling like you're forcing your life forward and feeling like you're flowing with it. Living this way doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. You will. But when you do, you'll know how to course correct quickly because your values will tell you where you went off track. You won't have to wait for years of frustration to realize something is wrong. You'll feel it almost instantly. And that awareness will save you time, energy, and opportunities that would have been lost if you kept moving in the wrong direction. Sometimes people think that living according to their values will limit them, like it will box them in or make them miss out. In reality, the opposite is true. Your values create clarity, and clarity creates freedom. When you know what truly matters to you, you can say yes and no with confidence. You stop chasing things that don't align, and you start attracting things that do. And when what you attract matches who you are, life feels less like a fight and more like a natural extension of yourself. But here's the hard truth. You can't fake this. You can say all the right things, make all the right posts, wear all the right expressions, but if your actions tell a different story, people will see it eventually. And more importantly, you'll feel it. The gap between your public image and your private reality is where frustration, anxiety, and restlessness grow. Closing that gap is one of the most freeing things you can ever do for yourself. The real win is when you can look at your life from the smallest decision to the biggest move and know without question that you're not just living for appearances. You're living in alignment. And when you get there, you stop needing constant validation because you've already given it to yourself. That's the strength that comes from making your actions match your values. It turns every step you take into a reflection of who you truly are. Moving with precision is about understanding that timing is just as important as direction. You can be headed exactly where you want to go, but if you move at the wrong time, too early, too late, you risk missing the very outcome you've been working for. The world loves to celebrate speed. We hear phrases like a move fast, a seize the moment, a don't wait. And yes, there are moments that require urgency, but there are also moments that require restraint. Precision is knowing the difference. When you move with precision, you stop reacting to pressure and start responding to opportunity. Pressure says, do it now because everyone else is. Opportunity says, do it now because you're ready. And there's a world of difference between the two. Acting because of pressure often leads to shortcuts, mistakes, and decisions that aren't fully thought through. Acting because you're ready comes from a place of preparation, clarity, and strength. Preparation is the quiet work that makes precision possible. It's what allows you to wait without feeling like you're falling behind. If you've been putting in the effort, building your skills, and doing the work behind the scenes, you won't be afraid of waiting for the right moment, because you'll know you're getting stronger while you wait. People who fear waiting are often the ones who aren't preparing. They're afraid that the moment will come and they won't be ready, so they rush into things, hoping they'll figure it out along the way. But there's a certain confidence that comes when you know your moment is going to meet your preparation. Precision also means knowing when not to act. There's a myth that doing something, anything, is always better than doing nothing. But sometimes the smartest move is to pause. That pause gives you the space to see what others are missing. It allows you to anticipate challenges before they happen, to strengthen your position before you step forward. Every great strategist in business or in life knows that patience is not weakness. It's a calculated choice to position yourself for the highest impact. The danger of moving without precision is that you can burn energy and resources on things that don't actually move you forward. You can get busy without getting better. You can work hard without working smart. And when that happens, you end up tired, frustrated, and wondering why all your effort isn't producing results. Precision eliminates that waste. It focuses your energy exactly where it will have the greatest return. You'll notice that people who move with precision don't panic when things change. They adapt quickly because they've built flexibility into their approach. They don't feel locked into one exact plan. They feel committed to a direction, but open to adjusting the path. That adaptability allows them to make adjustments in real time, which means they can take advantage of opportunities that others might overlook. Part of precision is also emotional control. It's hard to make precise decisions when you're overly emotional, whether it's excitement, fear, frustration, or even overconfidence. Emotions are powerful, but they can cloud judgment. Precision requires stepping back from the immediate feeling and looking at the situation from a higher vantage point. You ask yourself, is the best move or just the move that feels good right now? That one question can save you from countless mistakes. Sometimes precision means making moves that no one understands at the time. People might think you're being too slow, too cautious, or even missing opportunities. But the truth is, you're just not moving according to their timeline. You're moving according to yours. And that's the difference between chasing someone else's definition of success and creating your own. The same people who doubted you in the beginning will often look back later and call you a lucky, not realizing it wasn't luck at all. It was timing backed by preparation. It's also important to understand that precision doesn't mean perfection. Waiting for the perfect conditions is another trap. Precision is about finding the right time, not the perfect time. The right time is when you've done the work, assessed the situation, and can move forward with confidence in your plan. The perfect time is an illusion. It will keep you waiting forever. Precision lies in the balance between readiness and action. There will be seasons in life where the right move is to go all in, and others where the right move is to hold back. The key is trusting yourself enough to know which season you're in. That trust is built over time through self-awareness, practice, and learning from your own experiences. The more you live intentionally, the more you'll start to sense the difference between a door that's opening and one you're trying to force open. When you master precision, your actions start to look effortless to the outside world. People will wonder how you seem to always be in the right place at the right time. But you'll know the truth. It's not chance, it's not magic. It's the combination of patience, preparation, and a refusal to let pressure dictate your pace. That's the real power of precision. It allows you to move only when it matters most, and when it matters most, you move with impact.